All right, so let's finally talk about the topic I've wanted to talk about, which is Mr. Piker shocking his dog. So I'm sure everyone by now has seen the clip 100 times. I get so sad actually seeing the clip, so I don't want to play the actual clip of it. But for anyone who didn't know, there's some very popular Twitch streamer who very clearly hates animals, allegedly, I guess I should say. And there's a clip that went around where the dog had been laying still for 3 hours or 4 hours. And then as soon as the dog tried to climb off of the, like, I don't know, it looks like a treadmill or something that the dog is laying on, the guy, Hasan, immediately like yelled at the dog and told it to get back on its little bed, which the dog starts to comply with. The dog like immediately starts going, oh shit, I better do what he says. And despite that, the guy like visibly reaches forward, presses a button, and shocks the dog. The dog yelps and jumps back onto the bed. And then the allegedly, thank you. And then the dude started making, like, he just couldn't stop making it worse. So he started making all these claims that it wasn't a shock collar, it was a vibro collar. And to prove it, he like a fucking child, he holds up the shock collar on camera, and then immediately somebody like desaturates the image, and it becomes super visible that there's electrical tape like put over a piece of it. And I guess the prongs can be taken out and put back in anyway. I mean, maybe he already took the prongs out and just tried to cover up the holes where the prongs would go, the shock prongs. But literally nobody was fooled, except like the bots in his audience. So that just made it worse. And then people started digging up other footage where he was like having a one-on-one interview with some very Karen-esque looking woman. And she even mentioned to him, she goes, oh, I think this collar is too tight. You're supposed to be able to get 2 fingers under it, which is exactly what every vet's ever told me. I got dogs too, and they tell me the exact same thing. You're supposed to be able to slip 2 fingers under the collar, otherwise it's too tight. And immediately you see that he like goes over there and starts fiddling with it and basically just doesn't acknowledge that, yes, he clearly had the collar on too tight. And then later people would find footage of like a pit bull, I think, that he previously had, or some kind of pit mix. And you could see the skin was like folded up on the bottom of its neck. Somebody took a screenshot of this, and there's like a wound or a sore being made from the collar having been on too tight for months probably. So they basically allegedly have found all of this history of evidence of animal abuse. And somehow, in the timeline that we live in, where presidents are on social media and the vice presidents and stuff, like JD Vance was in an interview here, which we'll show in a second, and he references this Twitch streamer shocking a dog and I'll let it play here. All right, so let's watch JD Vance for a second.
He has this command place, which is basically if I snap my finger and point, he will run to that place.
Wow.
Okay, I know I didn't let it play for a quarter second, but that's the exact command that this guy used. He said his dog's name is Kaya. He said, Kaya, place. And this dog was frightened when they heard that command, I'm alleging. And you could see the panic reaction in that dog. They were like, oh shit. It's like when I like use my most angry voice with my dogs when they know they're in trouble, which granted, I don't physically administer any kind of discipline to my dogs. It's purely vocal. And that's why one of my dogs does not care. But one of my dogs does react to like a loud voice. And that was the same reaction that she gives, like, tucks down, gets ready for punishment kind of thing. Which is, I try to not raise my voice like that to my dog or to that particular dog because of that reaction to her. But you can totally see that that's how the dog reacted to being told to place. It was like, oh shit, I'm in trouble. I'm about to get punished.
And lay down.
You don't have to zap him.
No.
Hasan.
Not like Hasan Piker. No.
Wasn't that disgusting?
No electrocution of dogs here.
How does...
Okay. Do you have any idea who this woman is?
No. Who is she?
I don't know. I don't either. So this channel that I've got here, I guess they are copying this clip from Podforce 1. I'm not sure. The channel I'm on is called Decoded America, which only has like 40 subscribers. So I don't know where this original clip came from, but that blew me away. That in this in this professional setting where you can pull a guest like the vice president of the United States. They both know who this person is. They both are on, have their finger enough on the pulse of like the memes that are going around. Granted, I guess it's like the current biggest meme, or it was at the time. But they both had no question. They weren't like, oh, who's that? They were both like, oh yeah, not like that evil piece of shit that shocks their dogs. It's wild.
Well, it doesn't surprise me. Isn't Hasan the biggest Twitch streamer or something?
Either him or Asmongold is like the biggest streamer.
Right. Asmongold. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I don't know which one is officially the biggest. I'm familiar with Asmongold because I'm a game nerd. I had no idea who this Hasan person was until they came up as like a foil to Asmongold. So like Asmongold, I guess, is considered right wing, and Hasan would then be like the left wing, and they like do battle, as the forces of America collide. It's these two are like the voice of the chuds versus the voice of the liberals. I can't even think. What's a good word for liberal, like chud? Is there a great like? I'm. I love chud. I think chud's such a fun word because I would never feel insulted being called a chud. Like it's so close to Chad, which we, memed for 10, 20 years as Stacy and Chad were like the pinnacle of the sexual marketplace. So to be called a chud to me never really landed. And then when I looked up what it meant, which is chud is an acronym for like I can't remember the acronym now, but it's a
reference to like a 1980s schlock horror movie.
Yeah, which the movie is called Chud, but it's spelled out as an acronym, and it stands for like, I don't know, basically humans from underneath. They're like sewer dwellers, effectively, and that's what it's supposed to mean. We're supposed to hear Chud and be
it was
like,
a fun movie. I think the one of the criminals from the Home Alone movies, not Joe Pesci, the other guy. He was in there. It was one of his first roles. Same with the guy from The Big Lebowski and the Roseanne Show. Man, why can't I think of his name right now?
You mean John Goodman?
Hell yeah, John Goodman. I think he was in there too.
Well, so the guy, the non-Joe Pesci criminal from Home Alone, I just watched Home Alone. That guy absolutely carries the movie. His physical comedy is like Buster Keaton level. Like, he's amazing. Just his like high-pitched scream when they put the spider on his face. I think everyone probably remembers that scene. That guy's like genuinely putting a lot of the weight into that movie. It certainly ain't Macaulay Culkin, because he's like, I mean, he's a child actor. I don't want to talk shit about Macaulay Culkin when he's 8 years old. But like, even Joe Pesci, I think, as much as he was supposed to be kind of like the straight man of that duo, he didn't, for me, do nearly as much as the skinny curly-haired guy. I got to look up his name, as he's hilarious.
Dude, the whole movie is just gold.
You mean Chud or Home Alone?
Home Alone. Chud is, if I recall correctly, it was a pretty funny, decent movie.
I mean, Home Alone, it got a tear out of me at the end, I can't slight Macaulay Culkin that much, because he did deliver on the final. And yeah, he's definitely more competent than most child actors I've seen. But I kind of want to sit down and watch Chud. Maybe that's something we should do, is do like a viewing party of Chud. Because I feel like that's the least successful like counterattack to like Blue Hair or Karen or Libtard or whatever like the previous phrases were. Those all seem to work pretty well, because people would get upset if you refer to them as those. Maybe now it's like nose ring or something like that. But I've never seen anybody get offended at being called Chud. Even online, or people like, oh, it's a bunch of Chuds doing this, and everyone would just proudly claim it. Be like, fuck yeah, go Chuds. Let's go Team Chud.
Yeah.
Oh, I just noticed this woman's got a crucifix necklace. Okay, I'm going to actually let this play for a second. Let's see what they say.
What does that tell you about a person?
Well, I think it tells you that they're not, that they're bad people.
Yes.
If you can actually cause suffering to an innocent animal, you're probably the kind of person who doesn't worry about suffering in people as well.
All right, so that was the clip that I really wanted to. What's that?
That was a fair point by JD Vance. People who are
right,
psychopaths to animals, I mean, can't be trusted for how they deal with humans or what their deeper thoughts are about other humans.
But I would like to think that people by and large do not want to be associated with serial killers. And so I think this was a pretty clever statement that he made here. And it comes across as very casual, but I feel like, I don't know. I don't think J.D. Vance is a dummy.
No, I think real talk, first of all, yeah, the whole animal abuse, allegedly, is it's pretty fucked up. There's no way around it. I think anybody who watched it knows what they saw. But getting to the meat of the issue here, actually, because you brought up this specific clip, do you think old J.D. Vance is trying to run for president? You think he's just building up some like internet gravitas or something along those lines?
Yeah, I would assume so. I think that as much as Trump has kind of like tried to play the idea of running a third term, I can't see that actually flying. And then Vance has a pretty carefully cultivated, like, I'm one of you sort of image. He
embraced the meme that was sent out to actually insult him, right? That was a good play.
Right, and I think he's close enough to the kind of mental age mindset of a lot of the voters right now that he can play that game, and he's playing it successfully. He's the Wendy's of old man politicians. Actually, now that I even say that, like, look at how gray my hair is compared to him. He's the young, kind of like some of these other guys. Like the only ones I can think of are Vivek Ramaswamy and the guy who just won in New York. But they're also all that kind of same age where, to me, it feels like they've never like worked a real job. They all seem so young, but they're like seemingly kind of capturing the minds of the voter base. AOC, I can't remember her actual name, but she would be another one who, like her or hate her, she did have like a surge of popularity for a period of time. Whether or not it was legitimate or not, or funded by anybody, I don't want to get into yet. But what were you going to say?
Speaking of New York, Mamdani, who's now the mayor of New York, he came out of the left field, no pun intended. But honestly, and this is the same reason why I think Hasan is very popular in the left sphere of talking points, despite the fact he lives in a mansion. He comes from an ultra rich Turkish family.
I saw a picture of him on a horse.
I think the dad is like a CEO. His mom is like a huge, landlord or something along those lines.
One of the people.
So like super rich, right? Goes around wearing a shirt saying "Eat the Rich," which is like custom design. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like Gucci or something,
Wow.
But sociopathic or not, rich kid or not, the dude comes out, he promises free shit, very milquetoast leftist talking points, socialist if you want to get all boomer about it. Same thing with Mamdani in New York City. But going back to an earlier video we made about job openings decreasing, there's an AI bubble, et cetera, economy's not looking too good. If you come up and promise a generation of young kids growing up in that free shit, they're gonna vote for you. I think that's a pretty captivating and attractive talking point.
Well, I think that only works on a uneducated or maybe unwise is a better way to say it, voter base. Because I think anybody of a certain amount of experience is going to ask the obvious question about, if you're offering free shit, who's paying for it? Because there's no free lunches. Obviously everything's got to get paid for from somewhere. But it really seems like a lot of the voters who voted for, is it Mamdani?
Mamdani, I believe it is.
Mamdani. So a lot of the people who voted for him appear to really believe that, like, everything that he said. They don't have any questions about where it's going to come from, who's going to fund it. And I think I saw a video like 1 or 2 days after he won. He said, listen, I previously had paused donations and said, guys, everyone please stop donating while I'm asking you to start donating again. Because all these promises that I made, they're going to need some money. And he literally said, I got to hire people, we got to schedule stuff, we got to get things going, and all that's going to require money. So please start donating again. Man, you just ran on an entire platform that acknowledged that none of these people have any money. Your whole fucking platform was free shit, free bus rides, government-run grocery stores. is that not communism? Am I stupid? Like, isn't a grocery run... So I grew up in the 80s, in case my beard didn't give it away. And during that time, we were constantly reminded about how you had to wait in line for bread in Soviet Russia. That was what the Cold War was like all about. Like, you don't want to be like communist Russia. Look how shitty they have it. They've got a few people that are just running the whole show. And as you mentioned, you referenced the other video we made, and we talked about there that 10% of Americans are spending 50% of all consumer spending in America, which sounds a lot like the kind of thing that we were warned about from communist Russia, which is, you know, as George Carlin says, it's a big club and you ain't in it. Well, if we're going to now follow that same path and we're going to let the government build the club and decide who's in it, like, how do they think that's going to play out? Like, what do people imagine is going to be the benefit of a government-run grocery store? Have you been to the DMV? Shit that the government runs fucking sucks. It is the worst experience you can have. Who would want their produce and their food to be managed by the lowest bidder who's, you know, shaving money off of the government at every chance they get? Imagine the quality of the food you're going to get at a grocery run or at a government-run grocery store. I can't even get my head around it. Like, the fact
maybe
that
it'll be half decent. You just got to wait like a week to get it.
Yeah, right. Well, and that's another thing, right?
You got to make an appointment for a loaf of bread.
And maybe that's good. Maybe that's what people want. Is they're like, well, a homeless guy who has paid no taxes for 30 years should get just as much bread as I do working, a middle class job. But seemingly, these people also think that all the wealthy people are going to be like, I'm so happy to give away 70% of what I earn so that, you know, you poor people and you homeless people can have just as much food as I have.
And I'm not just going to take all my wealth of businesses and go into the arms of the next country that's more than happy to receive me.
Right. Or a lot of people don't want to move country. So I've been reading that they're moving to Florida or to Texas, which, fuck, man, poor Florida and Texas. I'm glad I don't live in any state that anyone wants to move to, because I would be so pissed to see people vote that in and then immediately deal with the consequences of their actions and then flee to another state, or I guess that's not dealing with the consequences of actions, but they flee from the consequences of their actions. And then they're going to bring that same voting to this new state. They're going to be like, ew, I hate Florida and all those MAGA chuds that live in Florida. So I'm going to move down there, just keep voting how I've been voting the whole time. And, you know, surprise of all surprises.
Because I'm educated.
Right. They know
better. I know how they should vote.
Right.
I know how this should be run. You know, I have a PhD in Greek history.
Right. Exactly.
And African American studies.
That's a good argument for how we ended up, you know, electing communists. From everything that I've seen and my friends that have gone to very fancy colleges, that is just like a communism like indoctrination center. There's a lot of people that are pro-communism.
Academia is rotten to the core. It's lazy. It's self-serving.
Well, it's corrupt.
Quite frankly, disgusting. Didn't you hear? This happened a couple of years ago. Somebody took, I think, Mein Kampf, changed some words around to make it sound like a lesbian manifesto, sent it in, and it just immediately got approved. Something like that. I'll look it up. We'll make a video.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah,
it was I want to talk about Anne Frank's diary too, but let's do those together in a video. That'll be fun.
All right.
Okay. That because if I find out that Anne Frank's diary is Mein Kampf, I'm gonna be pissed. But but yeah. So anyway, it's bizarre to see that we've come to that point, and I think it's pretty clever. I think this is how we got on this tangent. I think it's pretty clever of JD Vance to take interviews like this, where he has opportunities to integrate himself into like the larger meme discussion that's currently going on. All right, let's try to let JD Vance. It's a 56-second video. I think we've talked for like 10 minutes about it, and it's not even halfway done.
Over 20 actually.
Oh, perfect. Okay, let's let him finish part of his thought here.
Yeah.
And that's been my experience. If you mistreat dogs, that's almost 100% sign that you're going to be a really terrible person. So it's one of the ways, you know, we really sort of test people is
yes.
if Atlas responds well to them. If they like Atlas, we know they're good people. But you can tell if somebody's...
So Atlas is his dog. He was talking about how he trains his dog and how his dog uses the place command as well. And so he's now talking about how that's his like barometer for guests, where if you bring someone in and your dog likes you, then they're cool. But if your dog for some reason gets a bad vibe, then that's like his personal vibe check. That's how he knows if people suck or not. Which I kind of get where he's coming from here, but I feel like this is kind of a sort of performative statement, which just fits into the whole thing. But you're like, if your dog barks at somebody, you're not going to be like, well, this is clearly a serial killer. Get the fuck out of my home. Like, dogs bark at some people. They don't like their facial hair. They don't like their hat, or they don't like people with glasses because they can't, like, they look like unnatural to a dog, or somebody with a mask, for example. Dogs will bark at all kinds of shit.
I wouldn't know.
So I don't put a lot of stock in this idea that my dog is some kind of ghost whisperer who knows when people are good or bad just by their scent. But I think this will play with a lot of people, and so I think this is another kind of just smart thing to throw into your like Hasan dog pile, pardon the pun. But he knows what side his bread is buttered on, so why not take the shot?
Really mean to animals. You know, it's like the Jeffrey Dahmer thing.
Yeah.
Like every serial killer has actually been really bad to animals. That's sort of how they started.
Fucking
pretty much what we talked about already, right? I mean, I agree. If you hurt animals, you're a sociopath.
He just came out and said it. He didn't even have to say allegedly. He's got them lawyers. He doesn't have to say that bullshit. But yeah, that I think was... I don't know how viral this moment really went. It seems like it should have gone more based on the views on the video I've seen, but that
I think what's keeping it from going viral is I think people already drew the line in the sand where they stand politically. Anything that's not on their side, they're just going to either ignore or discount or shit talk. And
yeah. Well, I've seen that on both sides too. There's some people who just think Trump can do no wrong, and they don't care. Like Epstein files, Schmepstein files, like whatever. Trump's the best.
Yeah. What 4 years talking about how he's going to release the Epstein files? As soon as he's in there, he's like, they're on the desk. We're going to release them. And then the next day, what Epstein files? They never existed. What are you talking about? Epstein? Who's that guy?
Dude, he said... He made some statement like, I don't know why people are obsessed about these Epstein files. It was the craziest gaslighting I've seen yet come out of Trump, who, to be fair, in my opinion, he's just wheeling. Like, he's just playing it fast and loose. He doesn't have time to prep. He tells his aides, like, okay, you just give me the few bullet points that I need and I'll wing it. I'll talk about it. And for him to then, like, to blast all of the people that I think would have voted for him in that way and have him like not fall off in popularity after that just amazed me. So there's clearly a substantial base of people who, and kind of like that guy Benny Johnson. I don't know if I showed you him. He's like one of these like super right-wing like media pieces. He makes like 5-6 videos a day, and they're all just super pro-Christian, pro-Trump, pro-Republican. But he never talks about anything that you might consider a criticism of Trump. And I think that there must be a bigger base of people like that than I want to think, or that obviously it doesn't sit with my mindset, but that's got to be a huge portion of the voter base right now who are just like,
it's the same thing with
Trumpers.
How many idiots are walking around outside. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
You just apply a label to them. All these idiots are Democrats, these idiots are Republicans, and yeah, they walk among us, and they do have the right to vote.
That is crazy. That is crazy. I've seen people saying that as long as liberal white women are able to vote, then we will continue to see communists like Mamdani elected into office.
I get where that's coming from, but I think that's a gross oversimplification of it.
Right, of
as demographics are shifting, people will vote for their own self-interest, no matter how much you try to say that, we are the world, we are the sunshine, whatever that fucking song is, No, people are going to come in, they're going to vote in favor of their own racial group, religious group, ethnic group, whatever group they fall into and associate with, that's what they're going to vote for. And that's what you're seeing in Michigan and other places like New York, propping up UK, even abroad, right? You see it cropping up. And we're going to see some crazy ass shit happening in the next 10 years because of that.
Agreed. All right. I think that's where we can call it there. Yeah, I think you said it right there. We're going to see some crazy shit, and that'll be it.
Keeping up with Mr. Jackson.